Hi, welcome to this video or series of videos. I will be discussing the Unit 1 of Grade 9 book issued by the DepEd in the Philippines. The first unit is all about, sorry for that sound, it's all about quadratic equations and inequalities, as I wrote here. So that means we are be dealing with this sign a lot, with this sign, with this sign, and this sign. So you need to be very familiar with them. This is the equality sign that we use. In the Philippines. For example, this one is a is greater than 3, for example. Then that means 3 is not a is greater than 3. That means 3 is not included. So if I have a number line and this is 3, a is greater than 3, that means there is your a, and then you have that one. That means 3 is not included. It's a different thing. A is less than -2, for example. A is less than, sorry for that. A is less than -2. So if this is our number line, here is -2, then we're talking about this one, and we have like that. That means 2 is not included, and that is a very different thing when we called a is greater than or equal to 3, because of this sign. This one says that they are equal to 3. So if I will use the same, this is your 3, then I will put around like that. Some use a bracket to indicate, but I think in the Philippines we're using this. That is what I learned when I studied in the Philippines. So this one can read a is greater or greater than or equal to 3, and this one is a is less than or equal to -2. A is less than or equal to -2. Let's continue. Maybe in grade 8 you discuss about linear functions or linear equations. Linear equations, they always look like this. 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. Why it is called linear? Because the highest degree is 1. In this chapter, or in this unit in grade 9, we will be discussing quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. It is always look like this. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. A cannot be equal to 0. Why? Because when a is 0, then this whole thing will be 0. Then you are back to linear equation. We're not discussing about quadratic equation then if a is equal to 0. So a is not equal to 0. There is a possibility that b is equal to 0. Then it will look like this. Ax squared plus c is equal to 0. You can see that bx disappeared because b is 0, then bx will be 0 also. Why is it important to know? Because you should know the different appearance of quadratic equation. It doesn't matter if it is only two terms. It's not always three terms or trinomial. It can be two terms only. It can be one term. It can look like this: ax squared is equal to 0. So c is also 0. But now I will be discussing when c alone is 0. So it will look like this: ax squared plus bx is equal to 0. These three have different things to solve, different ways to solve them. I will discuss them later. This is just in introduction, but I want to show you also how the graph of a quadratic equation look like, or quadratic function. I will not going to discuss quadratic function until the module 2. Yeah, it is in this unit also. So it's I will show you a little bit. Wait. Okay, here is the graph of quadratic function. It looks like this. It is always a parable. It depends on the a. The a will give you the idea that if a is negative, if positive, then it will look like this. It will look like this, the parable. But if a is negative, maybe I can use also when a is 0. Oh, sorry. When a is 0, what I said, then like that. It is a linear line, or it is a straight line. But if it's negative, then you can see that we have this graph. I will put that on that. Okay, and the c is always the constant. I will change the c now. It's a little bit. You can see now the c is always on the y-axis. It's like that. Okay, so if it's positive, it looks like that. If it's negative, it looks like that. The c is always on the, so it always look like a parable. What is important here that I will be discussing later is that we have a symmetry line. It is like a mirror between 2 points. I will discuss that further later. But now it is important for you to know that what we are thinking when we are solving linear equation is that when y is 0, so we are talking about these 2 points here, or just 1 point, or no point at all, no real solutions, as we say later. So I will just go back here. So it is important for you to know now that a cannot be 0, b can be 0, it will look like this, and c can be 0, it will look like this, and we deal with them differently. We will see in the next video. See you then.